Joshua. Chapter 14. And these are what the children of Israel received as inheritances in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua the son of Nun and the heads of the fathers' houses of the tribes of the children of Israel gave to them as inheritances. By the lot of their inheritance, as Jehovah commanded through Moses for the 9 tribes and the half-tribe. For Moses had given the inheritance of the 2 tribes and the half-tribe across the Jordan, but to the Levites he did not give an inheritance among them. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and they gave no portion to the Levites in the land, but only cities to dwell in with their pasture lands for their cattle and their substance. As Jehovah had commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did, thus they divided the land. Then the children of Judah approached Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite said to him, You know the word that Jehovah spoke to Moses the man of God concerning me and concerning you in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Moses the servant of Jehovah sent me out from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I returned such a word to him as was genuinely upon my heart. However, my brothers who went up with me made the people's heart melt, but I fully followed Jehovah my God. And Moses swore on that day, saying, Surely the land on which your foot has trodden will be an inheritance to you and to your children forever, for you have fully followed Jehovah my God. And now, look, Jehovah has kept me alive, as he said, for these 45 years, since the time Jehovah spoke this word to Moses while Israel walked through the wilderness. And now, look, today I am 85 years old. Today I am still as strong as I was on the day Moses sent me out, as my strength was then, so my strength is now, for battle and for going out and coming in. Now therefore give me this hill country, of which Jehovah spoke on that day, for you heard on that day that the Anakim were there with great fortified cities. It may be that Jehovah will be with me, and I will dispossess them, as Jehovah said. So Joshua blessed him, and he gave Hebron to Caleb the son of Jephunneh as an inheritance. Therefore Hebron has become the inheritance of Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite to this day because he fully followed Jehovah the God of Israel. And the name of Hebron was formerly Kiriath Arba. This Arba was the greatest man among the Anakim. And the land had rest from war. Joshua. Chapter 15. And the lot for the tribe of the children of Judah according to their families was unto the border of Edom, to the wilderness of Zin at the south, this was the southern extreme. And their southern border was from the end of the Salt Sea, from the tongue-shaped peninsula that faces south. And it went southward to the ascent of Akrabim, and passed on to Zin, and went up south of Kadesh Barnea, and passed on to Hezron, and went up to Adar, and went around Karka. And passed on to Asmon, and went out to the brook of Egypt, and the end of the border was at the sea. This shall be your southern border. And the eastern border was the Salt Sea to the end of the Jordan. And the border on the northern side was from the tongue of the sea at the end of the Jordan. And the border went up to Beth Hoglah, and passed on to the north of Beth Araba, and the border went up to the stone of Bohan the son of Reuben. And the border went up to Debir from the valley of Acre, and turned northward toward Gilgal, which is opposite the ascent of Adummim, which is south of the river valley, and the border passed on to the waters of En-Shemesh, and its end was at En-Rogel. Then the border went up by the valley of Ben-Hinnom to the south of the Jebusite slope, this is Jerusalem, and the border went to the top of the mountain that is before the valley of Hinnom on the west, which is the northern end of the valley of Rephaim. And the border turned from the top of the mountain to the spring of the waters of Nephtoah and went to the cities of Mount Ephron, then the border turned toward Bala, this is Kiriath Jearim. And the border went around west of Bala to Mount Seir, and passed by the northern slope of Mount Jearim, this is Chesalon, and went down to Beth Shemesh, and passed on to Timnah. And the border went to the slope of Ekron northward, and the border turned toward Shikkeron, and passed by Mount Bala, and went to Jabneel, and the end of the border was at the sea. And the western border was the great sea and its border. This is the border of the children of Judah all around according to their families. And to Caleb the son of Jephunneh he gave a portion in the midst of the children of Judah according to the commandment of Jehovah to Joshua, that is, Kiriath Arba. Arba was the father of Anak, this is Hebron. And Caleb drove out the 3 sons of Anak from there, Sheshai and Ahiman and Talmai, the children of Anak. And he went up from there to the inhabitants of Debir. Now the name of Debir was formerly Kiriath-Sepher. And Caleb said, Whoever strikes Kiriath-Sepher and takes it, I will give to him Achsah my daughter as wife. Then Othniel the son of Kenaz, Caleb's brother, took it, and he gave him Achsah his daughter as wife. And when she came to him, she urged him to ask her father for a field. And she alighted from her donkey, and Caleb said to her, What do you want? And she said, Give me a blessing, for you have given me land in the Negev, give me also springs of water. So he gave her the upper springs and the lower springs. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Judah according to their families. And the uttermost cities of the tribe of the children of Judah toward the border of Edom on the south were Kabzeel and Eder and Jagur. And Kenah and Dimonah and Adadah. And Kadesh and Hazor and Ithnan. Ziph and Telem and Bealoth. And Hazor Hadattah and Kerioth Hezron, this is Hazor. Ammon and Shema and Moladah. And Hazar-Gaddah and Heshmon and Bethpelet. And Hazar-Shual and Beersheba and Biziathiah. Bala and Iim and Ezem. And Eltalad and Chesel and Hormah. And Ziklag and Madmannah and Sansannah. And Leboth and Shillim and Ain and Rimmon, in all 29 cities with their villages. In the lowland, Eshtaol and Zorah and Ashnah. And Zanoah and En-Ganim, Tapua and Enam. Jarmuth and Adullam, Soko and Azekah. And Sharaim and Adathaim and Gederah and Gederothaim, 14 cities with their villages. Zenon and Hadashah and Migdalgad. And Dilean and Mizpeh and Joktheel. Lachish and Bozkath and Eglon. And Kabban and Lamas and Chitlish. And Gederoth, Beth-Dagon and Naamah and Makkedah, 16 cities with their villages. Libnah and Ether and Ashan. And Iphta and Ashnah and Nezib. And Keilah and Achzib and Mareshah, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron, with its towns and its villages. From Ekron even to the sea, all that were near Ashdod, with their villages. Ashdod, with its towns and its villages, Gaza, with its towns and its villages, unto the brook of Egypt and the great sea and its border. And in the hill country, Shamir and Jattir and Soko. And Danah and Kiriath-Sanah, this is Debir. And Anab and Eshtemo and Anim. And Goshen and Holon and Jilo, 11 cities with their villages. Arab and Dumah and Ashan. And Janam and Beth-Tapua and Aphekah. And Humta and Kiriath Arba, this is Hebron, and Zeir, 9 cities with their villages. Maon, Carmel, and Ziph, and Judah. And Jezreel and Jokdeam and Zanoah. Cain, Gibeah, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Halhul, Beth-zur, and Geder. And Merith and Bethanath and Eltekon, 6 cities with their villages. Kiriath-Baal, this is Kiriath-Jearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth-araba, Middin, and Sekekah. And Nibshan and the city of Salt and En-Gedi, 6 cities with their villages. But as for the Jebusites, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the children of Judah could not dispossess them, thus the Jebusites dwell with the children of Judah in Jerusalem to this day. Joshua. Chapter 16. And the lot for the children of Joseph went from the Jordan at Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho, to the wilderness, going up from Jericho into the hill country to Bethel. And went from Bethel to Luz, and passed on to the border of the Archites at Adaroth. And went down westward to the border of the Japhletites, to the border of lower Beth-horon and to Gezer, and its end was the sea. And the children of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, received their inheritance. And the border of the children of Ephraim according to their families was thus: the border for their inheritance on the east was from Adaroth-adar to upper Beth-horon. And the border went to the sea. On the north was Mikmethath, and the border went around eastward to Tanath-Shiloh, and passed by it to the east of Genoa. And went down from Genoa to Adaroth, then to Nara, and reached Jericho, and went to the Jordan. From Tappuah the border went westward to the brook of Canaan, and its end was the sea. This is the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Ephraim according to their families. Together with the cities that were set apart for the children of Ephraim in the midst of the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. Yet they did not dispossess the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwell in the midst of Ephraim to this day and have become forced labor.